Hi guys, this is Brittany and it's Under the Radar Books, and today I'm going to be doing the Harry Potter tag. Sorry, my son is yelling downstairs, so hopefully you can hear me, but I'm going to be doing the Harry Potter tag, and I was tagged by the awesome Claire Quigley, and I'll link her channel down below, and she's amazing. She has such good taste in books, and I love her channel so much, so please go check her out and follow her, subscribe to her, like all of her videos. She's great. So the first question is, what is your favorite book? My favorite book, the fourth book, Goblet of Fire. And I think it's because that's kind of like when Harry starts to grow up and the story becomes so much more complicated, it becomes a lot darker. And also I think I loved it as a kid because it was so huge when it came out, and that made me so happy because it meant that I could spend that much more time in this world that I loved so much. So I definitely think I look back on that book the most fondly. Okay, question number 2 is your favorite movie. My favorite movie is probably number 5, Order of the Phoenix. And I think it's because you get introduced to so many other characters and you get to interact a lot more with the secondary characters like Luna Lovegood and Neville Longbottom, and you kind of learn about all the kids that go to Hogwarts and a lot of their backstories, and I just think that was so interesting, and that's a part that I really love about the 5th movie. I think they do a really good job of encompassing everything that was most important about the book into the movie. Question number 3 is your least favorite book. Well, I don't really have a least favorite book because I love them all so much, but if I had to pick one that didn't thrill me as much, I would have to say the second book, Chamber of Secrets, probably, because I was just a little bit underwhelmed by it, I think, especially after the first book was so amazing and, you know, introduced you to this world, and I think the second book was just kind of like, meh. Still love it, don't get me wrong, I still love it, and it's still a great story, but it's just, if I had to pick one that was, you know, not wow to me, that would be the one. Okay, next is parts of the books or movies that made you cry. Spoiler alert, seriously, so if you haven't read the books, stop watching right now. Sirius dies, and Dumbledore dies, Dobby dies, Fred Weasley dies, and definitely the end when Harry is going to meet Voldemort. Yeah, I think I might have even teared up a little bit in the epilogue, just like happy tears. So I cried a lot in those, I guess. Okay, next question is, if you could hook up with any Harry Potter character, who would that be? It'd just be hang out with which character, because in that case, I would definitely pick Hermione because she's awesome and bookish and really nerdy, and I think that we would have a great time together and be best friends, so that's my answer. My favorite character is probably, I think I'm gonna have to go with Hermione on this one too. My favorite character is Hermione also. Pretty much for the same reasons that I previously mentioned. She's really bookish and she's so smart and she's a badass, and I just love her. She's an awesome character, and I think she's a great role model for girls. Next is, what would your Patronus be? I actually took a quiz on this, and I can't remember if this was on Pottermore or just like a random website, but I remember that my result was an owl, and I can't remember why, but I mean, it sounds about right. I don't know. So I'll go with owl. You could have the Resurrection Stone, Invisibility Cloak, or the Elder Wand. Which would you choose? And I would pick the Invisibility Cloak just because I think there's such positive memories associated with it, I guess. Like, Harry uses it, and I feel like you could get the most use out of an invisibility cloak, so that's my answer. House would you be in? I've always thought that I was a Ravenclaw just because I'm so into reading and books, and I always have been, and pretty intellectual, and so I've always thought I was Ravenclaw. But when I joined Pottermore and I did the Sorting House test, I was Hufflepuff, so maybe I'm like in between those two, I would say. And I think Hufflepuff is a good choice for me too because I'm really friendly and outgoing and empathetic, so I think that, yeah, either one of those, Ravenclaw or Hufflepuff, like a mixture of the two. Next is, if you could meet any of the cast members, who would it be from the movies? And I would say probably Daniel Radcliffe. just because he seems like a really cool guy. He sounds really funny, and I know he's also really bookish too, so I'd love to just like pick his brain and, you know, talk. I think that'd be fun. So yeah, that one, Daniel. Next one is, have you ever played any of the video games? And I have played video games. I can't remember which ones exactly. Me and my sisters grew up playing video games. My dad worked at Nintendo, and then he later worked with Xbox at Microsoft, and so we always just played video games growing up. And of course we loved Harry Potter, so combination of the two, you can't get much better than that. And I remember them not being very good, and we usually beat them in like a day, but it was still fun and we still did it, you know? So yes, I have played the video games. If you were on a Quidditch team, which position would you play? If I played Quidditch, I would be probably a chaser, because other positions don't really suit me. I think that would be the only one that I would be semi good at. I probably wouldn't play Quidditch if I went to Hogwarts. I mean, let's be honest. I'd probably be in the library like 24 hours a day, but you know, if I had to, I would say chaser probably. Were you happy with the ending? I was happy with the ending. I think that vlog was sweet and it was charming, and I think that it embodied a lot of the overall feeling of Harry Potter, and I think that that was great. And we look back on it, I think we have a happy ending to look upon instead of something that's kind of like open-ended. And yeah, I was happy with it. What does Harry Potter mean to you? Harry Potter means so much to me. When I was a kid in middle school, I had a really hard time and I didn't have a lot of friends, and that's probably when reading became so important to me, because I love to get lost in other worlds and to be distracted from some things that I was going through. And I had the best librarian in the world, and she used to put aside new books for me before they were put into circulation so that I could read them, and she was always finding me the greatest things. I mean, all my children's books that I read as a child were things that she had showed me. And I remember one day I went in and she said, you know, I have this great book for you, you're gonna love it so much. And she gave me the first Harry Potter book, and it was right after it had come out. It was like the same month that it was released. We're reading it in like one sitting. I could not put it down. I was so enthralled and loved it so much. And I think I finished it and then went right back to the beginning and started it again. It was just brilliant. It was such a good memory, and I look back on it so fondly as something that was so important to me. Same age as Harry as the books were coming out, and so when, you know, the first one came out, I was 10, about to be 11, and so it was nice to kind of like grow up with those characters and be in the same kind of development as they were. So that is it. Thank you so much again, Claire, for tagging me, and I can tag a couple people as well. I believe. I'll tag her channel down below. Also, I'm going to tag Harry, and I'm going to tag Jacob at Jacob Tanner. To see you guys' answers. I'm really excited. So yeah, see you next time. Happy reading.